Hi, everybody. Welcome to today's Traders Report on 3.0 TV. So, we had the interest rate cut last night. This was highly anticipated. I think there was over 99% chance there was going to be a cut. So, that wasn't the news. The actual news was that there's more uncertainty about December cut. So, now I think there's potentially about a 30% chance that they're going to hold in December. This was off the back of Fed Chair Powell's comments that they're going to be data dependent for the next interest rate decision. And so it's not nailed on that we'll get a cut in December, whereas previously it pretty much was. I still think we will get that cut, but obviously it is data dependent. It will depend on inflation figures, it will depend on jobs figures. And this is what they're really looking at. Jobs creation has slowed down now in the US. It's beginning to slow down. And so they probably will need to reduce interest rates further to stimulate jobs growth. But on the other hand, inflation is still sticky and well above target. So Powell said that they are actually determined to bring it back to 2%, and we're currently around 3% inflation in the US. It did decline slightly at the last read by 0.1%, but it's still way, way above target. And so there's still concern on inflation, should I say, and it's combating forces that we have. Basically, they need to keep jobs growth robust, but at the same time keep inflation under control. So that's why the crypto market was a little bit mixed. We had a bit of a sell-off. We actually went down to about 108. I'll move away from Solana, just move into Bitcoin temporarily. We can see that last night we dipped to just under 108,000 on that news, but we've begun to move up now. So on Bitcoin, we do actually have, I believe, five waves down here and currently three waves higher. But it's not definitely a three wave higher. That five wave move down was actually in the form of a C wave, possibly. And so we could have had an expanded flat correction with an A down, B up, C down. That would be a completed correction. So there's another way you can count these moves, this move up. It looks so far like an ABC, and that's what I got it labeled as. But actually, it could be what's called a nested impulse higher. So the correction could be complete down here, and we could have a wave one up, two down, and then within wave three, we have one, two, and then we'll have a third wave higher. So I'm actually still very optimistic that we're going to be in a bit of a bull market still. I think the news to come out of the Z Trump meeting today regarding the trade tariffs and trades, expectations between America and China, I think they'll actually be positive, and I think that'll drive the market higher. So I actually prefer to see this. I can even change that as a small one, and then this one here as a two. So I'm hoping that this is from the bottom here, which is an ABC down, as I say, we've got a one, a two, and then on a smaller fractal, one, two, and we're going to get a three. That's what it looks like at the moment. We're actually moving quite nicely to the upside. If you think we were 108,000 last night, we're now well over 111,000. So that's quite a decent move in such a short period of time. So I think markets are now looking forward to better news on the trade tariffs front, as I say, between America and China. So that's quite positive. Similar picture here with Ethereum. And again, I think we've completed the correction down here. I think we've got a wave one. It could even be some sort of contracted, um, it's possible, some kind of sort of contracted correction here. So again, we have five waves up for wave one, some kind of possibly completed wave two. We may even have a touch lower to go for wave two, and then we should move impulsively high for wave three. So I'm still optimistic and bullish. And then we move on to XRP. We've labeled this for a long time, this dotted line here as an overhead resistance level, and it's having trouble trying to break through it convincingly. I do think we will break through convincingly, probably, quite possibly today, tomorrow, um, today, tomorrow, maybe even over the weekend, but certainly today, tomorrow. I think we're going to break this overhead resistance. So I knew it was going to be resistance. I had it labeled well ahead of time, and we tested it here. We tested only spiked above it with shadows on the candles above. We haven't yet broken it convincingly, but once we do break it, I think it opens the way to much higher, and we should actually head towards new all-time highs for XRP. Solana, I showed you briefly when we started. I'm still bullish Solana. I think that if I just can, contract this a little bit, we'll see that I'm expecting most likely it's either and an A wave, the wave four, sorry, completed here as some kind of ABC for wave four, or it could be a larger A, a larger B, and larger C down. If wave four is completed here, then we could have an ending diagonal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ending diagonal, which could get roughly, probably slightly beyond the previous all-time high of 295. That's if it's a ending diagonal, it would likely go beyond, because I don't really believe in truncations where waves fall short. So I expect if it's a fifth wave to the upside in red here, a fifth wave to the upside, I expect it to go beyond 295. But if it's just an A wave down, this is just a B wave higher, then it would probably get somewhere around that 295. Wouldn't have to exceed it, could even fall short a little bit. Most likely, possibly even equate with the previous 295 before a substantial further correction. So I still think there's upside to come, and we have held this support line here quite strongly. First test here, and it moved higher. Second test, and it moved higher. There's actually a third test there, and it moved higher. Fourth test moved higher. Fifth test moved higher. So this is a really solid support. I'm pretty confident and comfortable taking long positions every time it dips, with a stop loss just below this support line. And if it stops out, yeah, it's a small loss. But if we get the profit we're looking for, the risk-reward ratio is fantastic. Link has stayed reasonably strong, but again, it's quite hard to say whether the correction down here is completed. It could have completed here, and we could be just choppiness, basically, corrective choppiness. Maybe we've got an impulse higher and some corrective choppiness, but I'm still bullish Link as well. Jasmy had a bit of a pullback, but again, we're above that support. This is the invalidation level for Jasmy here. So we've got labeled as an impulse higher here, ABC down for wave two. And we got reasonably close to this support line, but we didn't cross it. If it crosses, then there's an invalidation. We have to reassess this wave count. But at the moment, things are still looking reasonably positive, and I'm expecting higher. So we'll just jump over to traditional assets now with the S&P. S&P, as you know, I have targets a little bit higher for the S&P, 7.1, possibly 7,071. This is a very important, highly extended Fibonacci extension here at just about 7,000. And we could even go a bit beyond that. That's another Fibonacci extension here in relation to previous wave movements. So I'm still expecting higher for these markets, and could even be more than this, but I'm expecting higher, and I think the market correlations will mean that crypto also moves higher. We'll just take a very quick look at gold. So gold has been in a correction, and again, we had this expectation that gold would correct, and we may have completed the wave four here. You can see I've got it as a question mark, and I had that in advance. We'll just move it back to the 4 hour to show you. So this does look like some kind of correction to the downside, possibly an ABC, which may be complete here, which would be this wave four with a question mark. We could still have a little bit lower to go, but I suspect that this is some kind of bull flag formation, that even if we have a little bit lower to go, it'll probably be a buy the dip opportunity with expectations of higher still to come for gold. So new all-time highs probably still to come. And then finally, we'll look at dollar index, because this reflects what happened last night. We got quite a sharp move up there in the dollar, and that was basically because Powell in the meeting, the FOMC meeting, in his testimony basically came out and said that they are data dependent for December. A rate cut is not nailed on. They will basically just see what happens with employment, with inflation, etc. And so that was a bit of a scaling back of expectations for a rate cut in December. And because of that, less chance of a rate cut, then that means the dollar is going to strengthen a little bit, because the interest rates are potentially staying a little bit higher for a little bit longer. And that's what caused dollar strength. And just looking longer term, may need to move back to daily for this. We have bounced off long-term support here. This support channel goes all the way back to 2009 financial crisis, when Bitcoin was born, and we didn't breach that, and the dollar index has started to move higher. So that could have been a turning point. We know within the Bitcoin halving cycle, we're round about the time where you'd expect there to be a correction in Bitcoin. I still think we probably have another high to come. And this is a different cycle this time round. We have the institutional involvement into these assets. And don't forget, once this government shutdown is complete and over, then we're going to get new ETFs most likely to come with Solana, certainly. I would say certainly, pretty well certainly, possibly XRP, possibly Litecoin. So I think these assets will be major beneficiaries of that news. So that's pretty much it for today. Again, hope it helps. Have a great weekend coming up and look forward to catching up next week. Bye for now.